All right, everybody. Welcome to the Internet Sports Broadcast Network. Three friends. We just get on and go down any dirt road we want talking about sports, and that's exactly what we're going to do tonight. So, welcome, Todd Frank, Donovan Hughes, Purdy Bird. What's up, guys?
What's up?
Todd, say howdy. Put,
Howdy.
put scotch down.
Right.
Hey, before we got on, we were talking about Todd and Donovan are in a bowling league. And Donovan, tell us that score one more time. What you bowled Monday night?
Actually, I took a picture of it because I couldn't believe it. Let me see.
Okay. Okay.
I know that sounds weird, but when you're
No,
not
you
very
take a picture when you're 50 points from a perfect
when you're
board.
not very good at something and you do pretty well, you always kind of
Yeah, you brag about it.
all right. Yeah. So I had a horrible 147 the first game. I shot a 224 the second game and a 258 the third game.
Wow.
And it,
Congratulations.
yeah, and it was my first 600 series.
That's
620,
awesome.
629.
So
Yeah.
That's
hurry.
awesome. Yeah.
And
The way
and
it starts, right? The way it starts is, you get one beer per game, right?
Right.
So, you know,
hey,
we call it aiming fluid.
hey, Todd did well too. He shot a 157, a 200 his second game, and a
Woo!
190 his third.
There you go, man. Good team, guys. Y'all have a good
Yeah,
team.
we were rolling.
Yeah.
And the team we played were not really good bowlers, but they were bowling out of their mind.
They bowled good too, huh?
Yeah, they bowled really really well, and it was just the luck of whatever the Irish or whatever, but we bowled really well too.
So you had 3 games over 200 between both of you. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Anybody bowls knows that's good scores for 3
well
out of
for
what 6 games.
amateurs, for
That's good.
amateurs, yeah.
That's good, guys.
For
All right. Well, we want to welcome our friends, and we're going to talk some sports tonight. I guess we can jump in with the football, right?
sure.
Pro football, because that was the only gig going on this weekend, right? So let's start with that San Francisco Green Bay butt kicking. What do y'all think?
Wow. Just wow.
Yeah. Wow.
I,
I
I
mean,
didn't watch the second half. I knew that there's no way they could come back on that defense.
Yeah, but we all picked the 49ers in that game.
oh yeah. I just didn't
Yeah.
suspect that they would run over them that easily. Okay.
No.
I mean, they
Yeah.
just ran up and down the field, and their
Oh, yeah.
defense was unbelievable.
Well, I mean, the Packers, I mean, they picked it up, second half. It was just a little too late,
Too
to
late.
score. I mean, I think they didn't even score until till the time was like 8 minutes and 44 seconds. They finally got their first score,
Yeah.
in the third quarter. It's like a little late there, on pulling the trigger there, Aaron Rodgers.
Well,
Yeah.
and San Francisco, I'm sure, went into some sort of a prevent midway through the third quarter. I mean, they were up, 27 to nothing, and midway
Right.
through, I don't know. I don't know when San Francisco actually scored in the third quarter. I know they scored 7, but did they score before? Was it 34 to nothing at one time, or was it 27 to nothing before
It was
Green Bay
like,
scored?
yeah, I thought it was like 27 to nothing. I don't
Yeah,
think Green Bay even scored their first score till the third or beginning of the fourth
yeah.
quarter.
So that,
It was a butt kicking.
I'm sure San Francisco went into some sort of a prevent,
Yeah.
if not a full one, but at least letting them drive down the field and let them score, because obviously they let them. Green Bay scored 7 in the third and 13 in the fourth.
Right.
So, and they still lost by 17 points.
Yeah. Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And then the Tennessee game, they kind of they looked good for a while.
Yeah.
I made an observation. Kansas City gets off to a slow start, but then they come back and they just whip you. I think they just psychologically knock you out of the game, because Tennessee didn't even seem like the same team the second half.
Well, yeah, where was Henry? You know what I mean?
Yeah, they just
I mean, everybody was
disappeared. It's
talking
like
about
they
his
had to. It's
pound
like this
game.
team came back and got so far ahead, and we've done the best we can. Yeah, where'd they go? Terrible, terrible.
Uh, it comes down to coaching.
Yeah,
When you see second half scores like that, that's called it's adjustments. I mean, that's what it is. And of course, Mahomes can. He's he's the best youngest quarterback uh, I've
yeah,
seen in a long time. And I don't know if it's Andy Reid and whoever's helping him with the coaching on the quarterbacks, but if it's up to development, whoever that is needs to be paid millions. And if it's just natural ability, then good Lord, he's got a lot of years ahead of him because Mahomes is something else.
Well,
I mean,
you know, in Mahomes in the first quarter, I mean, when you go back and you watch her while you're watching it, I mean, his passes were right on, right
Yeah.
out of the gate. I mean, his passes were on. It's just I think the receivers had a little bit of like anxiety. They had brick hands because
Yeah.
all of his passes
Yeah.
were like spot on and should have been caught, but you know they're all dropped. And I think they had to like get the jitters out. You know, and then once they kind of got into the groove, you know, the KC machine got fired up and just started to rock and roll.
it was deja vu from last week.
Yeah.
Is exactly what it was. And that
Yeah.
run he made at the end of the half,
Yeah.
unbelievable.
That was funny.
Yeah, it was kind of funny seeing 10 missed tackles.
Goodness
Yeah.
gracious.
Yeah,
mean,
I mean,
you-
he wasn't moving real fast either. You know,
No,
it's
it
like,
just couldn't get him.
yeah, it kind of fell into the end
It was
zone.
like he
touchdown.
was a ghost. They were swatting at air.
Yeah.
Where'd he go? Where'd that guy go? You know, I
Yeah.
really thought he was going to run out of bounds.
Yeah, and he just
When he
turned
first
it up.
got around
Yeah.
that one guy, I think that one guy thought he was just going to get out of bounds, and he didn't. He said, "What's this? I'll just go score." Yeah,
Well, yeah.
I'm that
why
good.
not?
Yeah. Well, okay. So, guys, who's going to win the Super Bowl? That's going to be a good football game.
I'm going for Kansas City because I want them to win. They haven't won in a long since I think '69 was the last
Yep.
time they were. But I mean, San Francisco's defense is just they're on
Awesome.
another level right now. Golly.
Well, and
Yeah.
I think that's going to be kind of the key, you know, because I mean, Mahomes can move out of the pocket, which you know you may not want him to move out of the pocket, but with that front four,
Man.
you know, if they start penetrating and driving that offensive line back, it's kind of like a double-edged sword. I mean, you know, are you going to try to keep the quarterback in the pocket and not penetrate, and then Mahomes can still pass, right? Or if you collapse the pocket and make him run, I mean, he throws that stuff left-handed, right-handed, going backwards in the air.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
so I don't know if that's necessarily, you know, good, you know, for the 49ers, but, you know, that defense, they can definitely shut things down pretty good. And if he doesn't have time, I mean, that's the number one thing that you need to take away from Mahomes is time. I mean, you give him time and something will work out. And that's what you can't give him.
Yeah, and you know the difference between him and what's the quarterback's name for Green Bay?
Garoppolo.
No, the quarterback for Green Bay. What's his name?
Oh, Aaron Rodgers?
Oh God,
Aaron Rodgers.
I need
Yeah.
to go to the doctor and check my head. Okay,
Right.
so you know he stands in the pocket. I think Mahomes presents lots of problems for San Francisco. If they overrush, he's going to run. Right? They've got to control themselves more than they did on that rush, but still they're good. But Mahomes threw a pass off his back foot, a bomb that amazed me. He could throw it that far off his back foot. Just
He's
kind of
insane.
slung it. He just kind of slung it down there from his back foot, running out of getting away from the rush. He just flipped it, you know, and there it
Yeah.
goes. So unbelievable. Well, I think I'm going to San Francisco. I like Kansas City. I honestly want to see them win, but the way the San Francisco's defense played and their offense, I think it's going to be a tough game for Kansas City. I may be wrong.
Yeah, San Francisco's got, you know, Tyrann Mathieu and
Yep.
Sherman back there, and they're at the back end of their, not necessarily Tyrann Mathieu, but Sherman. He's kind of at the back end of his career, but he seems rejuvenated this year. And God, their defense is just. If I had to put money on it, I would go with the Niners. But
Yeah.
man, I really would love to see Kansas City win, and I'd like to. 'Cause you know what? Andy Reid went to 4 Super Bowls with the Eagles and lost every one of them.
Yeah.
And if somebody's due by karma, it's him. I mean,
Yeah.
that cat deserves a Super Bowl as
But
good as he's been.
But the fact he's gone to 5 says something too. You know,
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
Yeah.
at some point
he reminds
he
me of
deserves to
Buffalo
win.
Bills when they used to have to stack up against the Cowboys when they
That's
had to
exactly.
run.
Yep.
They couldn't win it.
exactly.
They got there and they couldn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
Like 3 times or 2 times or whatever, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So there you go. Well, you guys, Todd, who you picking, Kansas City or San Fran?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with San Fran, and I'm gonna say 2 touchdowns. Give them 14 points. Vegas has got it at 1 point spread.
Okay, I was going to
I
ask
mean,
what the
it's
spread
really
was. Yeah,
So it's a toss-up.
it's a toss-up.
yeah.
Now I could change in a week, but that's probably what it's going to be.
But yeah,
One
I mean,
or
I
two
think
points.
Garoppolo will probably throw a little bit more, and yeah, I think the 49ers. I think the 49ers will get it.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
Golly, man! But it's going to be a great game.
Yeah, I think it will.
I don't think there's any way it couldn't be a great game the way it's setting up. I just can't see it not being a great game.
Yeah, I think it's a good Super Bowl matchup myself. I really do like it. I think you're going to see a lot of wild, crazy things going on in the field. I think it's going to be entertaining. I think it's going to be a lot of scoring. I think it's going to be fun.
I think it's going to be, yeah, I think it's going to be absolutely awesome to watch. And I really don't care. I don't have a dog in the fight. I just want to see a good game.
Yeah, exactly.
I tell you what, I'd like to, not to give a shout out, but what's really cool is Kyle Shanahan, the coach of the 49ers. He played for Texas and the Texas alum. Of course, everybody knows his dad, Super Bowl winner, but he's brought something unique to the league that I really like. That's it's kind of cutting edge, but he also has gotten back to running the football. If you watch that game, they ran down Green Bay's throat.
Oh, he killed him.
Ran him, and that wasn't necessarily their biggest strength all year.
No,
But
No.
they exploited the fact that Green Bay couldn't. That they saw something
Well,
and implemented it and executed it, and it was a massacre.
and
So-
that's kind of like an overall trend I think that we've seen in the last few years where, everybody's saying, oh, well, fullbacks are dead. The running game's dead. It's all aerial assault. And here we go. Garoppolo only threw 8 times, but it was all on the ground.
Well,
Yeah.
2 of the 4 teams that got that far in the playoffs were both smash mouth running football teams.
Yeah, so maybe it's coming back. Old school's coming back.
Well,
Well,
if you get the right combination of passer and runner, yeah, right.
Well, here's the deal, and it happens in college football too, is being a contrarian sometimes of whatever people are doing on offense minus the defense or vice versa, they don't get to practice against it. And when you're a contrarian, when you do something completely different, it's so hard to get up to speed when you play somebody like that. So if you can build something around that, Jackson and with Baltimore, they got enough tape on them. By the end of the year, they figured it out.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was the last game that they figured it out.
Well, but they didn't really play a good game to begin with. I mean,
No.
honestly, the Ravens. I mean, the Ravens beat themselves. Okay, nobody beat them on the field. They beat themselves. They did not show up. They didn't execute well. They didn't do anything well. And I mean, it was sad.
Well, when the defenses are kind of know what you're doing better, makes you look a little worse than you do normally.
Yeah.
You get away with a lot of stuff when you're doing things that they don't understand and they're not in the right position. But man, they ran into a brick wall in their playoff run. Baltimore did.
Well, you could see how downtrodden they were.
Yeah.
And you could see it in their eyes. They beat themselves. They didn't have, the heart and the soul to press on and keep on doing it. They just kind of rolled over. And
Yeah.
I mean, you can see it. I mean, it looked like somebody like smashed their ice cream in the ground, said, "No more for you." You know what I mean? And they just went home crying. And that wasn't the Ravens that we saw all year long. That was a whole different ball team. That was crazy.
It looked like somebody took their lunch money.
Yeah, lunch money. Smash their ice
ice cream, lunch money.
I mean, it was sad. I mean, they were just they beat themselves and just rolled over,
and rolled over.
Yep, it was bad.
All sorts of adjectives and prepositions tonight.
Yep.
Okay. Hey, there is a first in this Super Bowl.
Yep.
You guys want to try to guess what it is?
A first.
And now I'm going to play Jefferson. I'll tell you what it is if you're ready. I won't keep it silent too long. Just let me know.
Hold on.
Oh, you're looking it up, you bum.
No,
I'm gonna
I
do
don't.
it to you.
I have no idea.
Okay,
Hey, no,
the
hey, Gertie,
the San Francisco 49ers will have the first female coach going to a Super Bowl.
It's the Niners.
That's right.
That's right. It is. Well, that's cool.
Just thought I'd throw that in.
Yeah.
Who talks about that, huh?
Well,
I bet we're the first to bring that up.
Well,
Give
that's
us
cool.
kudos.
So I don't know much about her. She's So what coach does she do on?
You know, I saw an advertisement. It looked like she's running with the lines and certain offensive plays, right? Just making sure they get it perfected. I'll have to look it up. But the fact she's the first female coach on an NFL team to go to Super Bowl is pretty cool.
That's been listed. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. On the flip side, the Longhorns have the quote best strength and conditioning basketball coach who came over from Kansas. That's a woman, and they just crapped the bed yesterday.
I was going to say, how's she doing a good job?
They're not doing well, but I'm not saying that other one's not, and I'm not saying that they're not all the same. But
hey, there are going to be some strong losers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
Let's
anyway,
beat up the sports people tonight.
I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter.
We should just.
No, you're not bitter.
Yeah, we should just
mention
Kansas.
that quarterback for Cleveland and see what he says.
Oh God.
See what Donovan says.
Well, maybe in the basketball arena we could get Kansas matched up with UT. So when UT loses, they could take it into the grandstands. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it would be and then UT could be like, hey, we lost, but we kicked your asses.
No, there's a big fight. Was the fight the men's basketball team or?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I was
suspended everybody just about for
Kansas State. Yeah, it was Kansas State and Kansas.
Bye
bye.
Yeah. I think some guys got totally wiped out for the season, didn't they?
Well, they haven't come down yet.
No.
Exactly.
Oh, they need to.
Yeah.
That's unacceptable.
It was
especially when
sad.
the game's over.
Well, yeah.
The game wasn't over.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't.
Well,
over.
I know, but you know what I'm saying.
They actually ejected several people and then brought them back out on the court and made them do the last second.
Wow.
So Silvio De Sousa is the one that had the chair over his head or the stool, whatever you
I didn't see it, guys. I just heard about it today.
Well, hey, D, let's talk about this because the guy stole the ball from right. It goes down to make the shot.
A layup.
De Sousa smashes it right, and he falls down. And look, I know they're saying, hey, he went over to him and was taunting him. It's like, hey, you know what? It's a sport, right? It's competitive, and there's nothing wrong going over to your opponent that's laying on the ground. It's not like he tried teabagging him or did some type of sexual gesture at him.
It was pretty close, but yeah.
Well, no, he didn't do that. I didn't see that.
During the play, it was almost, yeah.
What we have here is a failure to communicate.
You had the bench clear from K-State, and then they had their James Love, who wasn't even in uniform, got right in the middle of it. I mean, it was a mess.
So y'all want to know? It just came down, by the way. Kansas big man Silvio De Sousa received 12-game suspension. Teammate. I thought he was going to be done for the year. Actually.
I did too.
Yeah. David McCormick, 2 games. Kansas State players Antonio Gordon received ban for 8 games, 8 and 3 games. Bans. Antonio, maybe and Gordon received bans of 8 and 3 games respectively.
Wow.
James Love.
James Love got 8. Antonio Gordon got 3. And they said Kansas conducted its own investigation. And they're going to be discussion on when they're, according to Kansas, if they'll let them come back at the same time. Yeah, whatever.
So just as long as, UT keeps on strength coaching, this happens here. I mean, it's going to be a melee.
Well, this guy, De Sousa, he barely played this year because he was suspended for violations for recruiting violations.
Yeah.
So, it's not like he's
off to a great start.
He's not a choir boy at this point.
I keep laughing because I'm listening to y'all talk about this. It's funny.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. And there's going to be a lot of people talking about on the sports channel saying that's not enough for what happened last night.
Well, most of them half said that should be a few games. The other half said the rest of the year.
Yeah,
So you
just to really
you got two
make
camps.
a point.
Two
Yeah.
camps.
Yeah, it was just kind of bad because I mean, De Sosa. I mean, I'll give you that. Standing over your opponent that's on the ground. Maybe that wasn't good
Smart.
sportsmanship.
Mm-hmm.
But when the K-State cleared the bench and went over there, and he had James Love get in the middle of it, and then number 33, the whole situation just went to the whole next level. And there they are, doing their melee right in the handicap section. It's like,
Yeah.
where's your civility, your sense of decency? It's like, if you're gonna fight, take it out on the court. Don't take it into the stands.
Right.
And you know what? I mean, honestly, if I was there and I got injured, I'd sue them. It's like I wouldn't be surprised if they have a few lawsuits come out.
Now,
They
did anybody get hurt really bad? That was my next question.
There wasn't one punch thrown.
Really?
No, I don't think anybody ever connected with a punch.
Oh, yeah, there were punches thrown, and then number 33 was trying to kick somebody.
There was some kicking action, but
Yeah.
I don't think anybody actually connected. Which
Really?
they're basketball players, they're not boxers.
Well, yeah, but there were absolutely.
I mean, if
there
you
were
can see them, they have no business boxing.
Yeah, there were punches thrown and kicks. Yeah.
But they didn't hit it. Nobody got punched that I saw, and I
That's
rewound
funny.
it about 10 times. So
Yeah, I was watching it from different angles. Yeah.
yeah.
Todd was playing it back in super slow motion, cheering.
Oh,
Cheering.
I was.
Scotch spilling all over. I know it.
The whole thing doesn't start if De Sosa doesn't stand over him and taunt him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sorry, but
mean,
the whole thing, and it's the end of the game, and they were winning the game already. So why even
That's
do
what
it?
I'm saying. They were already winning. Why not just go
Yeah.
down the court and forget
how
about
about
it?
this? The head coach of K-State already told their players, it's like, hey, man, just let the clock run out. And they're
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
decide, well, screw that. I'm going to go try to get 2 points, So,
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about
Yep.
ill-disciplined basketball players not even doing what the coach tells them what to do,
Yep.
There you go.
There you go. And look what happened. I bet they're regretting that today. Bet their parents were happy with them.
You really have to wonder what the ramifications will be. I mean, is K-State going to be able to
No.
maintain, or is Kansas State going to be able to maintain, third place in the rankings? Or are they going
Who
to drop?
knows? All I know is Baylor's got a good basketball team. That's all I know.
Yeah, they do.
It's like
So-
dominating the world of sports.
They're good. Yes, they are.
Yeah,
Football, basketball.
That little school in Waco is doing good, aren't they?
I can't wait for them to play the Longhorns this year. Woohoo! So looking forward to that.
Are you being sarcastic?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay,
Yeah.
there you go. I just want
Donovan
to make
Scoopy hit
sure
me up. He's like, hey,
your
man.
voice tended to make it sound that way. So
Yeah. Oh, goodness gracious.
Hey, so guys, change the subject on you real quick. I don't know who posted it. Could have been a big lie, so I'm not going to even quote who it was. But they showed the three of the top Houston Astros batting averages away. I mean, at home as opposed to away, and they were huge gap.
Really?
Yeah, I'll try to find it.
Just because that stat's there.
I know, doesn't mean
that
it's
there's
true.
a causal relationship between cheating, and the stats.
Hey, as I used to say on the radio, it's only true because I said so, right?
Hey, you know what? Sometimes if there's smoke, there is fire. That's true, but yeah.
But anyhow, that's still
Astros.
going on, and we'll talk about that later. But what I really want to know is, I'm going to step out of this. Donovan, did that fight happen?
It did. And it was very short.
And McGregor, is that the guy that hadn't won in a while? Won, right?
Well, come to find out, I didn't do my due diligence. I didn't realize that Cowboy had lost his last 2 fights too.
Right.
Yeah, and they were against really good fighters. Don't get me wrong; he didn't lose
Yeah.
to nobodies. But Cowboy got caught with a flying knee to start the fight.
Oh,
The first deal, he was
Oh.
a little dazed, and then
oh,
it just went south from there. And I think
I
it was
bet.
over 25 seconds or whatever.
yeah. Get a knee in the face. You tend to do that.
Big waste of money. I give Conor McGregor some props. I mean, he looked fit, trained. He moved up in weight, even though he'd already won the belt there. It's kind of he was at a catch weight before for him. First time he was at 170.
Right.
Actually fought at 170, and I was kind of hoping to see if he could go more than 2 or 3 rounds or 5-round fights, 5-minute rounds, and I was kind of hoping to see if he could go longer, but didn't happen. And a bad. So yeah.
Well, he's been very disciplined. You know, he stopped drinking for a while, stopped partying.
Yeah.
You know, he buckled down, got serious, and showed the world that he can do it.
So I was just curious how that went
Yeah.
because I heard who won. I just didn't know how it went
Yeah.
down. I didn't look
Yeah,
to see
it
if it was a
was-
first round or whatever. Right. So sorry.
Hey, I mean.
So when
it
you
is-
pay
is
for
what it
some
is.
when you pay for something like that, Donovan, and it's over in the first 25 seconds, what do they do? Play music for the next 2 hours, or what
Well,
do they do?
Here's the UFC. They do it right because you got free pay
Okay.
you have free prelims from 7 to 9, and
Okay.
that's about 4 fights, and then you have from 9 to about 11 you got another 4 fights, and then the main cards ends up around 11 o'clock, depending on
Okay.
how many knockouts there are. You know, depends on how long.
So
the
you get
fights
you
go.
get some entertainment. You don't get like blank music with a
Yeah.
black screen where you're sitting there
Right.
twiddling your thumbs, going, "I wish I hadn't bought this."
Right.
And
Now-
plus, I mean, Hurdy, he's charging cover anyway. So, I mean, the house.
I understand. I know he has them lined up down the street.
That's why Todd didn't come.
Come on in. Come on over.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a big group here, by the way.
And you're probably going, "Thank goodness."
Yeah. So
That's good. Well, when's the next big one coming up? What's the next? You're keeping up with this, Donovan. What's the next
shoot,
fight that comes up that's worth? They made any announcements on any other big fights coming up? Probably
They-
not. Yeah.
they made an announcement. But you know what? It's kind of weird with UFC. They're like after a big fight like this, they do
Yeah.
a lot of jockeying around, and it's so the like right now. So you won't have a pay-per-view. This is on ESPN Plus, and it's Curtis Blades against Junior Dos Santos. Junior Dos Santos is a great fighter, veteran fighter, but it's not like nobody's going to pay money for it. That's why it's free on ESPN Plus. So you'll have 3 or 4 of these throughout, and then they'll set.
And
the
then they'll
next-
set another big one up down the road.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
they'll set a big one up as they're going through these free ones.
Yeah, so they're
to
just
build 'em
keeping
up.
they're keeping you entertained till they decide on who's going to fight next for the pay-per-view.
Yeah, I
and
mean-
believe me, Dana White is going to figure it out, and he'll get a fight, and they'll hype it up, and he'll make his money. Dana White's one hell of a businessman.
Oh yeah.
Well, that sounds cool. Well, what else, guys?
Well, my Longhorn basketball team.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, I can't.
No. Go ahead. All
right. So as I'm doing well with my bowling, Todd looks at me, and I positioned myself while I was not looking at the monitor, and so that I couldn't see it because I was taping the game. I wanted to go home after the bowling and watch it, you know. And Todd looks at me and goes, "Damn, your boys are down by 40."
What?
And I looked at him, I'm like, "What?" And I looked
And
up,
that's why you didn't bowl a 300. Son of a gun.
and it was actually 80. Shoot, I think it was 80 to 38. I think they
That's
were
a
down
close game.
by 42 points, and they lost by 38.
That's a close game, buddy.
Oh my goodness!
They got
Well,
killed.
I'll tell you
man.
what, the reason why D did so good is he got all pissed off. The ball didn't even touch the lane. It just sat there and kept on hitting that head pin. You know, never seen anybody launch a bowling ball all the way
Unbelievable.
down the alley.
No, but I gave up on them last year. Actually, their coach is Shaka Smart has done nothing that he came over here to do. He did a havoc defense.
Yeah,
where
what
they were-
happened to him, man? He was so
look.
good before he came here. Everybody loved him. He was the greatest coach. He was
I'm
a
give-
championship. He goes to playoffs every year.
I'm gonna give you a breakdown. Okay, so he has a different athlete here that he's recruited. He's recruited better athletes, but it's a different athlete. So
Okay.
what he had prior were kids that didn't get into Kentucky, Duke. They were the second tier players that were very athletic, but they had to develop, and they were there for 4 years at VCU, where he came from, and by their third year, they could develop them enough to run this pressure defense, havoc all over the court. Had some shooters, but really relied on their defense and just pressuring and creating turnovers. He gets to Texas, he starts getting these better recruits. I mean, more people want to go to University of Texas than the Virginia Commonwealth.
And play for him. Yeah.
Right. So he comes here, recruits well, but he starts getting these big guys, and he's getting these prima donnas too, who have been the best player in their team and the best player in their AAU team, and they come in and they expect to start and they don't expect to practice as much, and he's not a big enough personality, I think, with the guys
Right.
to make them do what they need to do to be successful. And I don't think he's an X's and O's guys. I think he was running the havoc offense and defense. That whole what they just got beat by West Virginia is what they run. When they just got smoked by 38 points by the type of offense and defense that he's used to running prior to coming to Texas, and he didn't translate. It didn't translate here because he didn't have a big enough personality. And
Why don't they fire him? You know, he sounds like Jason Garrett is to the Cowboys.
Yeah, because
totally
you look at Rick Barnes. Didn't he go to the Final 16 last year?
oh yeah, he's been to the Sweet 16 at least both last 2 years.
I just don't understand that.
He
Okay.
went to the I think Elite Eight last year.
Yeah, but see, I don't understand why they ever got rid of him in the first place. He's always been a good coach, and he always is successful wherever he goes. Did they just get tired of him at Texas, or what?
Well, the grass is always greener on the other side, but he never
Yeah.
he got to the Final Four one time,
Yeah.
and in his years, and he had enough talent to get to the Final Four several times.
Okay.
And it's fair. I mean, if you're
Uh-huh.
trying to be the best, then but unfortunately, they reached on Shaka Smart, and the problem is there was probably 10 other Division I really good basketball teams that needed a coach at the time that he could have went to, and for some reason the basketball gods sent him to us. But
Well, the Big 12 is not a run over freaking basketball.
no,
You got Texas Tech, who made it to the Final 8 last year, or 4. You've got got Baylor, like number 1 or number 2 in the country. You've got Kansas State. No telling what they're going to be looking like now, but still, you got some pretty good powerhouse basketball teams
oh yeah,
in the Big 12. You know.
oh yeah,
Yeah, and
So-
Tech's ranked 9 or 18 right now.
Yeah, they're a good basketball team.
well they'll end up being in the top 10.
Yeah.
Chris Baird, their coach, I would do anything to have him as a UT coach. He is developing X's and O's. I mean, you put that guy in a timeout, and he will work you over with his guys. That's the type of coach you need, not one just relies on
They were
athletic
they were
ability.
tough last year.
Oh yeah,
And I think they're looking the same this year. If I'm correct, they've got a lot of the same, mentality and guys. So watch out for them for sure. But
Absolutely.
you got some good team. Baylor just looks unstoppable.
I haven't
Sorry.
seen a game of theirs yet.
I have, and they just look as good as they sound. They just look good. So I heard one of the sports commentators say he thought they should be number 1.
Yeah.
So
Well,
there you go.
Coach Drew, I'm not a big fan of his, but it's
Nor
is
are
what
you
it
a
is.
big. What's that quarterback for Cleveland? You're not a big fan of his either.
come
right?
on. I don't even like to say his name.
I can't pass it up.
He sleeps in a stadium. Okay. He's a bomb.
Todd, it doesn't take much, does it?
No, it doesn't. I've worn that out. So it's like,
Yeah, well, we
I
just
have to
keep doing it to make it part of the show,
yeah.
I know.
Well,
Top 5 things you like about Bakerfield or whatever.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I got the top 5 things that I can do to get
No.
go off center.
I don't
Don't
want
go
to.
there.
I don't
go
want
there.
to. I don't want to.
All right.
All right, guys. So Super Bowl's coming up week after next.
Yep.
and we'll be on next Wednesday night. But I'm thinking I'm going to do some digging into some of the baseball trades and free agency things that went on, and bring that up next week. If you guys want to dig into some stuff, you got NASCAR coming up. We can kind of see what the rule changes are. We got some other things to talk about before the football, so dig in a little bit this week. Kind of bring up some niche things you want to talk about.
Will do. And I'm one of my clients is I think I mentioned y'all, Zach Britton, for the Yankees, relief pitcher for the Yankees.
Yeah.
I'm going to be touching base with them in the next 2 or 3 weeks, and I'm going to try to get a little interview with him if I can.
Well, I've got unlimited Zoom invites. If he's willing to come on and chat with us, I'd love to have him on and just talk to him about, it'd be really cool to have him on. If he wants to come on, he may not, but that's cool.
I mean, all he can tell me is no. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, that'd be like, okay, but so I mean, it's not
just
a big
tell him
deal.
we're 3 guys that sit around and talk sports, and we'd like to get him on and harass him a little bit.
Well, he's a great guy.
Good.
And his wife's great, Courtney, and they're great family. And so, he might be busy.
If he doesn't, just get some information from him. He's probably busy getting ready for spring. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot going on. Probably getting range to travel a lot. All that stuff.
Absolutely.
Just say, hey, dude, just give us a few caveats, right?
Right. That'd be cool.
And we'll take them.
For sure.
All right, guys. I hope y'all had fun tonight.
I did. Enjoyed it.
Good. And,
like always.
Yeah, man, it's fun. I'll get this thing finished up in the morning and get it out there to you guys, get the links out to you. May get it finished tonight, but probably finished up in the morning, get the links out. Okay.
Sounds good. Hurdy, when are you going to come bowling with us?
Man, I'm going to come over. You know what? I think I'm just going to come over next Monday night and say hi to you guys. What bowling lanes are you at?
Mel's.
Oh, you're up in Mel's? Cool.
Yep.
I'll say hi to my friends up there. Yeah, that'd be cool. I think I'll come by there next Monday night.
Cool.
Say hi. Watch y'all laugh. No,
right.
I won't laugh. But yeah, congratulations on your 258. Todd, congratulations on your 222. That's bowling we're talking about.
That's right.
And you guys, thanks for being on the what we call the Internet Sports Broadcast Network, State of Sports. Just 3 friends, Todd, Frank, Donovan Hughes, Shorty Burke. And guys, thanks for the great discussion tonight. Have a great evening. And we'll be talking next week, okay?
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye, Hardy.
Good night.
Bye.